Hi there, everybody. Welcome to another album review. My name is Christian Eschbach. Hey everyone. Okay, so this is my second attempt at this review because my first one was long-winded in the beginning and not enough detail on the music. So we are talking about Bush 16 Stone. UK Grunge. I know that a lot of people hate using the term UK Grunge when it comes to Bush, but the reality is that's what they are to me. They're UK Grunge. It's funny enough because I'm going to actually do a partial reversal on what I'm about to say with this album. And then when I go into their next one, Razor Blade Suitcase. First off, okay, so in Canada, believe it or not, in Canada, Bush is actually called BushX. Let me see if I actually, yeah. So this version of the album is most likely a release from anywhere outside of Canada. This one, where it has the little X right there, is in Canada. There is a Canadian version of this that has the X in it as well. And the reason why is there was actually a Canadian band called Bush, I think it was back in the 60s or something like that was still active and still had a following at the time. So, legalities, in Canada, this version of Bush is BushX. All right. Moving on from that, with the grunge thing. Okay. If you listen to Soundgarden, especially, a little bit later Soundgarden, not the early stuff, same with Nirvana, not the early stuff, but if you look at like In Utero, if you look at Super Unknown, I want to say Alice in Chains to a little degree, but not really. They don't have that drone that Alice in Chains uses. But, there's a few other examples off the top of my head. I can't think of the names of the bands or the songs I want to use. But basically, yeah, that's what this is. This is UK Grunge. And it's funny because when you get into Razorblade Suitcase, it kind of goes the opposite way where it's not the later stuff from those guys, but the earlier stuff for those guys, like the pre-94 stuff, because this was 94. Let's get into the music itself. So the album opens up with Everything Zen, which everybody knows, man. Everybody knows Everything Zen. That's the one that broke them out, made them famous. Realistically, it's a rather poetic song. Lyrically, like the lyrics are very poetic. Musically, I think it's a wonderful song, and to this day, I think it still holds up pretty good. So that's really cool that way. Outside of that, though, is it a song that I still honestly go out of my way to listen to after all these years? No. But it's not a song I go out of my way to turn off. There are two of those on this album. All right. Moving on. Actually, no, there's only one. There used to be two. Now there's only one. Okay. Moving on from there, we got Swim, which is all right, I guess. It keeps the album going. Bomb keeps the album going. Little Things I don't mind. It's got a bit of a good hook and groove to it, so it's not bad. After that, though, we get to Come Down, which is by far, to this day, my favorite Bush song, which is really weird because if you're one of my regular viewers, you know I'm not a fan of slow songs, especially ballady, lovey song kind of things. But Come Down has got such a killer bass up, man. Such a killer bass riff, man. I just totally dig on that one when that one's going. And to this day, I still love Come Down. I will go to the edges saying that is their best. That goes into Body, which, whatever. Then you're into Machine Head. So Machine Head is the one I used to hate off this album. When that was out and that was a single, it was played so often and so overplayed everywhere, I could not stand it. Now that you don't hear it as often, when I put it on when I was listening to the album for the first time in a while, I actually enjoyed the song, which, like, even as a teenager, I never really enjoyed the song. Testosterone, it's got a heavy testosterone-y feel, but for the most part, it doesn't do much for me. Monkey, I actually enjoy. I do when it's playing. I get into Monkey. I really enjoy that one. Then we go into Glycerine. I hate Glycerine. To this day, I still hate Glycerine. And everything I said about Machine Head earlier, you know, the overplaying of that, okay, that's a good part of Glycerine. But I really hate Gavin's voice on Glycerine. Glycerine! 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 It's annoying. It just absolutely drives me nuts. I hate it. Alien is an interesting tune, man. Another one that's got a really good bass riff that I really get into. And it doesn't have a hooky bass riff, but it's got a good bass riff, like one that you listen to and you go, damn, listen to that, man. Like as a bassist, you kind of, your ears pick up and go, ooh, listen. And then the album finishes with an ex-girlfriend, which I honestly think is garbage. It's definitely one of those filler tracks put on there. Okay, so before I go too far into this album, one thing I need to point out. Well, I do mock Gavin to a small degree because of, you know, like he's singing on Glycerine. I do believe that this band is actually talented, and at the end of the day, I actually prefer Gavin Rossdale as an actor over a musician. I haven't watched him in a lot of stuff, but the very first thing I ever saw him in, which I think was one of his first acting roles, I'm not 100% sure on that, was Constantine, the one with Keanu Reeves, and I thought he was brilliant in it. Did a great job in there. Got to question his taste in women when he married Gwen Stefani on a multitude of levels. But to each their own. Each their own. Would I recommend this album to anyone? I don't know. If you can pick it up used, go for it. This is not my first copy of this album, believe it or not. Okay, so I bought this album, or I ordered it from one of the record warehouse distributors. It was either Columbia House or BMG. I don't know which. Or I bought it brand new in the store. I don't remember when it first came out because, you know, it's the big hit. Everybody had to have it. Everybody had to have a copy of it. I went out and bought it, and I kept it around for probably about a year or two. I do know that I traded it off to someone for something, and I don't remember what I traded off for. I don't remember if I traded it off for another album or if I sold it to someone or whatnot. Either way, I got rid of it well before I hit my 20s. And then I got together with my ex-wife, and somewhere along the way, I'm pretty sure we ended up with the CD again. I know when we got together, she at least had Razorblade Suitcase. She might have had both. She might have had this one and Razorblade Suitcase, possibly. I'm not sure. Either way, I got divorced. I lost both of those albums. And then recently, I got them again courtesy of my father-in-law and I've mentioned before, he picks up CDs. I feel he does this for me purposely throughout the year. He picks up CDs and then he gives them all to me in a giant stack around the holidays. So I got a whole refresh of albums for the rest of the year, stuff I haven't covered or I won't cover kind of thing, or, you know. I think it's great. It's wonderful when I don't have to buy stuff like this. Speaking of, I have had finally someone ask me about P.O. Box for sending me albums. I am looking into it. We are going to bring a P.O. Box out, possibly. It all depends. I will say, though, if I do that, I will not be sending albums back. It'll be a one-way trip, so it'll be donations to the reviews. That being said, though, when I do introduce that, any albums that I do receive that way will automatically get priority since they were sent to me. But more to come for that when I have more details. Other than that, folks, let me know what you think about Bush 16 Stone. Am I being too hard on this album? Am I not being hard enough on this album? I mean, going with my story, right. I didn't finish that story, right. So with me owning this multiple times and whatnot, for an album I really wouldn't pay more than $5 for. I've had it in my possession 3 times now, so take what you want from that. Let me know what you think, folks. Comments down below. On your way down there, you'll see a couple links. Check those out. Like button, subscribe button, bell for notifications. Please and thank you. Peace, love, take care, and I'll see you for Razorblade Suitcase next.